Now I'm going to flip to the other side of the ball, and I'm going to flip to a different type of situation. Is we have a player on offense that is tremendously talented, but is not living up to expectations. He is a wild card by every sense of the word because you just don't know what you're going to get from him because you haven't seen it yet. And some people are ready to give up on this guy. Some people have moved on to other players, to other guys that do it. And some people are holding on to that hope. And this one is one of those absolute velocity type players and wild card pick in Danny Gray. And the reason I put Danny Gray as a wild card, because of the effect he could have on special teams and the effect he could have to taking the top off the defense. The 49ers have been looking for a player that can consistently do that. Play the X receiver, which is what Brandon Ayuk plays, and then run a vertical and make everyone on the defense fear his speed. And when you talk about Danny Gray compared to the rest of the 49ers wide receivers, he's a step above all of them. Speed-wise, that element that the 49ers just don't have. And yes, a lot of people have said Danny Gray was drafted to pair with Trey Lance, and that could be the case. But Danny Gray is more than just a vertical threat. Danny Gray is also a guy that can catch the ball in space and house call any ball he gets to. He could be a playmaker. He has yak potential. The reason that I'm still holding on to Danny Gray is because of what I saw in person in training camp last year. My eyes on Gray, because that was one of my biggest question marks going into last season. Who was going to step up and be that guy behind Ray, that wide receiver 5, who was going to help on special teams, potentially in kick return and punt return? And Danny Gray is that guy. Danny Gray gives you so much ability to be able to run fly sweeps, catch screens, get vertical, but also catch a dig over the middle of the field and just absolutely run past everyone to the end zone. There's not many guys that can do what Danny Gray can do. So he's a wild card. And he's a wild card because last year in week 2 of the preseason, on the opening kickoff, he landed wrong on his shoulder and got hurt. We don't know who Danny Gray would have been last year. I can only tell you my opinion that I think Danny Gray would have made the 53-man roster and been able to play consistently. And we know he's a guy that did make the 53. Then they put him on IR. They still were thinking about bringing Danny Gray back at some point in the season. Now, it didn't work out, but imagine what you could add to your offense if you get a Danny Gray that's going to make an SMU impact, a guy that's going to get out there, catch the ball in space and take it to the house, get vertical. Now you've got 2 legit speedsters with Jacob Cowing and Danny Gray, and as fast as Jacob Cowing is, Danny Gray is elite fast. He is one of those guys that no corners can stay with. He changes the game if he's able to run other routes consistently. You can't just be a vertical threat. You got to be more than that. But he would be a potential legitimate guy to give you some different looks. When Debo's out, you can still run fly sweeps. You could still run him in some of those interesting motion actions and get him going, get the eyes of the defense on him because he's so fast. Exit motion with Danny Gray. All of a sudden, you've got a switch in coverage if they're in a man, or you could potentially just go ahead and take advantage of a zone. There's a lot of things you could do with Gray if he's available. So he's a wild card by every sense of the imagination because we do not know what we're going to get from Danny Gray. It's complete projection. You're hoping you're going to get impact from Danny Gray. He's a wild card this season.